What's up, Colorado Realtors? I'm Scott Peterson. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Legal Bites. It is the 7th of August, and Realtors, it is like Christmas come early for many of you today, as you realize that on August 7th, out of the blue, you will be getting new contracts to buy and sell, as well as a brand new seller's property disclosure. And I wanted to quickly jump on and explain what was going on with that and how to use them and give just a quick little update on everything. So essentially, you should have received on Friday an update from the Division of Real Estate. All licensees across the state would have received it. If you didn't, hunt it down and check it out. But the contracts related to residential properties, and those would be three: the basic residential contract to buy and sell that most of you use on a daily basis, the income residential contract, as well as the Foreclosure Protection Act contract. Those three documents have been updated well out of cycle in the middle of the year in order to meet an obligation that we can thank our state legislature for that really goes into effect today. The other thing that was updated is the seller's property disclosure for residential for kind of an overlapping or similar reason. There's really only two changes to the contracts and essentially one change to the residential property disclosure that were required. But I'll start with the radon one first. In paragraph 10.13 to the contract to buy and sell was added, and it is the radon disclosure that, effective today, is required in a residential transaction, needs to be included in a contract to buy and sell. It's a disclosure coming from the seller to the buyer related to the potential health risks of radon. That was initiated by the radon testing professionals in the last legislative session, and that bill passed and again became effective today. And so there's nothing you need to do there. There's no blanks or boxes to check. You want to make sure you're using the current version of the contract to buy and sell that I think is going to be circulated among most of the forms providers and uploaded to be current as of today, if not in the next day or two. Obviously, that contract should be available as well on the Division of Real Estate's website for download and use if you need something in the interim. And the advisory they sent out had a very good description of the language that needs to go into a contract if you don't have access to the new contracts available immediately. But everybody in the state should, with all of the different forms providers, should have access to that within the next couple of days, I would imagine, at the latest. So check with your forms provider on that if you have additional questions. Nothing more to do there. And then also related to radon, there was an update and a new box added based on the same piece of legislation. And it requires a little bit more robust disclosure with regard from a seller to a buyer for the potential of radon, any testing that's been done in the past, any mitigation systems that are in place, and so forth. So again, as soon as those documents, the seller's property disclosure and the contracts to buy and sell, become available, implement them immediately and start using them in the course of your business beginning as soon as possible. The other change to the contract is another change that was an impact from our Colorado legislature this year, and that's related to metro or special taxing districts. That's paragraph 8.4 of the contract. That paragraph had a pretty simple change, but they added essentially a blank at the end. There's a sentence that now says the website address for the metro or special taxing district is blank. So that will need to be included and completed. Technically, that requirement doesn't go into effect until January 1st of next year, but since the contract was being updated and released for radon, they just released this one as well. So there is going to be hopefully most of our MLSs in the state will be updating the MLS data fields to allow a listing broker to include in the listing the website address for the taxing district, the special or metro taxing district, if the property resides in one. And so you'll see, I think, some updates on the MLS side and hopefully the ability to incorporate that if you're writing an offer on behalf of a buyer to just fill in that blank and submit it with your offer on paragraph 8.4. And that way, if not, or if that blank is left blank with the offer, then the listing broker or seller needs to be countering probably to complete that blank, because it will become effective January 1st, a requirement of state law that a seller that is selling a property in a metro district discloses the website address so that the buyer, if they want to go out and research, do additional information, digging, due diligence, et cetera, with regard to that metro district, they have the resources now to do that. The linked below, we will have a website that is, I think it's a DOLA website, a Department of Local Affairs website, but it's essentially an aggregation of all the metro districts that you'll be able to search and identify. And there are some other resources the state is trying to provide in connection with this bill to increase the visibility, awareness, and availability of website information generally related to these taxing districts. And again, it's just trying to open a buyer's eyes with regard to any implications, financial or otherwise, that may be included. So the radon piece of things don't need to do much except for start implementing the new contracts as well as the new residential seller's property disclosure as soon as possible. But nothing affirmative to do other than use those documents. And Metro District, there will be now that blank in there, and that needs to be completed by either the seller or the buyer writing the offer with the website address. And again, there's resources down below with a link to be able to do that if you click on those with this video. So anyhow, that's what occurred. Fortunately, not a whole lot of heavy lifting for you all, but I've had a bunch of inquiries over the last couple of days through the hotline and other sources related to how these are going to impact you, and just thought it'd be easiest to just do a quick video and give you an update on those changes. You will still be getting some new changes with new documents. This is the contract release that was going to take place January 1st of next year. So you've got that in your hot little hands now. You'll still be getting some new contracts and other form revisions coming January 1st in the normal cycle, but based again on the legislative changes, this was a bit more of a pressing document that the Division of Real Estate and the Commission felt like they needed to roll out in an out-of-order form cycle. So there you have it. Hopefully that works. If you have questions, the legal hotline is always available from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4. And we'll talk to you soon and see you again on another edition of Legal Bites. Thanks so much.